gets into the main base. The problem is Hero's suffering from success right now. Okay, he lost some units. Good for him. That means he can warp in. Maybe some DTs as well. But he lost 9 probes alongside the Nexus in the top right corner. And he's going to try a warp, but he was a little bit late on it, though, and it gets canceled by the Vikings. Knocking it down in the main. But again, Clem. So, the Colossi found a depot, so of course, here we are. Tasty. The Colossi reaching over the top of the moat, but the Liberator's doing so as well. The armies collapsing on one another. The Liberators keeping everything at bay. The Disruptors attempting to do the same. But Hero is one mediocre fight away from total disaster. Of course, Clem is the same, but his army is becoming harder and harder to beat. The Disruptors, though, gets a chunk. There's just so many of them. It's hard to miss. Hero expanding with the medium difficulty AI, which may be where he gets some of his inspiration. I almost said expiration, which somehow might have been accurate, but the Well, here we go. Liberation is at hand, but the charge lots are in the natural. Clem's got some tough decisions to make soon. Does he go forward? Or does he go back? Because either way, he's going to take damage. But can he do enough in trade? The Liberator's moving forward. The Zealots continue piling in. The Colossi at an awkward spot, but the main base is under attack as well. Hero keeps streaming in, half a dozen charge lots at a time. And Clem, in full retreat. He can't go forward because Hero is everywhere all of the time. There's a Stalker that blinked over into the center base. Disruptors over the top. The Liberators may lock down this entire screen of the map, but believe it or not, there's more where that came from. Another dozen SCVs dead. There's a charge lot slicing at a depot. This Stalker has 3 SCV kills and is slowly gathering more. They're really bad at killing SCVs, but you know, you work with what you have. And he's gonna slam into the army before the Liberators concede. A Disruptor shot eats a chunk, and Clem will be forced to split from another. Hero with 3,000 minerals in the bank and almost no gas, which, you know, makes sense in the grand scheme of things. If it gets down to it, though, you need gas for Stalkers. Alright, there are DTs slicing through and uninstalling the animals. DT Blink is on the way. You might have thought he had it already. The Disruptors are continuing to corral Clem's units. He gets on the wrong side of one of the Liberators, or the right one, depending on who you're rooting for. Another DT EMP. How many? There's 4 orbital commands, which isn't quite enough. More Chunklocks streaming into the 4th phase. And the onslaught continues. Another broadside. He fires off in tandem 2 Disruptor shots. And even if they don't connect with the army, they keep it busy for long enough. 43 SCVs dead. 23 remain. Clem is nearly maxed out with nowhere to go. Hero has taken well over half the map. He's been mining over 2,000 more minerals a minute. Well, also some gas, but I think mostly minerals at this stage. And slamming more of the Disruptors home. But Clem still has the army to beat. 1 Disruptor shot at a time is eating into the Terrans. That Ghost incredibly dead. Finally cleans up some of the charge lots, but there's a Nexus, though it's not mining. This has been spotted for a while, but Clem just simply hasn't been able to deal with it. There's just not enough. Hero is everywhere. He gets an orbital command, and everyone makes it harder to deal with the Dark Templar that are trickling in. Another Liberator, another set of Ghosts. Disruptor shots landing one by one. And when one lands, it makes the rest more likely, as Clem is more stressed and more required to get damage done. But he's stutter stepping past. The Disruptors targeted one by one, and every single one of them is popped. Hero manages to lose the fight, and Clem still has a massive army supply advantage. Hero doesn't really have enough gas to add much more anti-air, though the Liberator count has been reduced to 7. He can warp in from the close spot on here. He's going to engage directly into the Stalkers. The Liberators will see. Vikings hit the deck. Colossi are in production again, as the Disruptors have not managed to win the day on their own. The fadeaway shots, the probes transferring to the closest base, which is awkwardly towards Clem's army. 15 probes dead, and Hero may have successfully navigated the gaping chasm of victory. and run directly into the brick wall of defeat. But it's not over yet for either side. Clem barely with more SCVs than he started with. He's struggling to mine. There's 3 orbital commands, another one on the way, but one of them's literally up in the air right now. Stutter stepping a Marine and Marauder against a half-dozen charge lots. Hero still has the income advantage. He's still able to refill, but he's lost all but 2 of his how many disruptors? He lost 14 disruptors, 6 colossi, 215 zealots. But Clem has not been able to maintain enough income to refill. He's bleeding out. And the reinforcements are cut off as Hero abandons the 3rd or 4th Nexus in a row in order to make sure that Clem is unable to reinforce the army. The Colossi, it's all coming together. A Liberator on the main base ramp, that's not gonna be enough. He blinks into the main, knocks another sentry dies. How many? 6 sentries, and I think they've all died in conspicuous and sad ways. So, and meanwhile, the Colossi engaging their favorite targets, mostly barracks and supply depots. Disruptor zoning out of the ramp. There's one more shot in reserve. He tries to target, he gets it in time. He's gonna clean up the Stalkers. The Stalkers to the end. A recall, okay. Several of these Stalkers will survive. Recalls that we rebuilt this base. 7. Hero reaches into that seemingly infinite bank. Though we know it isn't. But Clem is down to 8 SCVs. The orbital command in the air and knocked into the unit's lost 10. Clem, 500 actions per minute. And not nearly enough to keep up with Hero's windmilling Protoss, his flurry of attacks, his drunken brawler, Forrest Gumpian style. Probes continue to transfer to bases that they are immediately dying, but charge lots and Stalkers are cutting off the reinforcements, though Clem still has more army supply. A Liberator actually killed 8 more probes. Hero up 30 supply, but it's entirely in probes. Another clutch of charge lots, another wave of units. This is a planetary he's falling back to. Much of Clem's supply is in medevacs, which isn't necessarily bad. There's no more splash damage. We're back where we started in terms of tech. Beaten back down to Marines and Marauders with a Ghost kind of add on to it. But more Marauders cut off, and Hero is still mining. He's still got the income with the Stalkers come around the corner, and Clem unceremoniously leaves the game. 237 shots. 16 disruptors, 8 in the last side. 6 Nexi. He slaughtered 114 SCVs. 147 Marines, 79 Marauders. Hero with the barrage of attacks. Always towing the thin line between bravery and stupidity. The blurry pool between genius and insanity. The overlapping Venn diagram of confusion and strength. And other profound things, but let's see if they can keep it up. Well, I'm clearly not happy about it. Hero sending a probe out in the 0 second, which he is always an interesting, to say the very, there you go. Yeah, sure, why not? Go that way. That's definitely, of all the places to put the first pilot, that's certainly one of them. It is this a max build? Clem just builds his barracks off to the side to keep the... So, the probe... He knows Clem is tilted. He's gonna try to flip the table entirely. It's... I don't know how he's so consistent with it. It's madness. Like... Every other Protoss that tries this style, the majority of it, Like, it's not 50-50. With Hero, it's like 3-1 that he's successful. But other Protoss that try this style will think too hard. They'll be like, oh, I lost a fight, I have to rebuild. Hero's like, no, we fight again now. Now! We're fighting! Let's go ahead and leave with 6 charge blocks and a sentry. Set the sentry! This is straight up a max pack thing. Hero is actually outstripped max packs for the Bob, Crown, and Protoss matches. But Max Packs discovering originally that the Max Packs build was just proxying, though usually not like this, usually it's closer to the base, a gateway in a random, well, not a random corner, I keep putting asterisks on this, but the Reaper's gonna find this Zealot, by the way, which is hilarious. So just one gate expand, except the gate is much like Protoss with our proxy racks, just part of the macro build. So we had first a Zealot, but have we had second Zealot? The probe does not have a kill, but it's working on the reactor, which could be relevant here. The Reaper, he's playing crouching Zealot, hidden Reaper in the trees. The Zealot and the probe tag teaming, and the Star. Okay. Oh no! Oh no, we built a reactor. I mean, yes, obviously, but like, that means there's no Marines for the moment. That means SCV will die. The probe being targeted first. The Stalker just taking its pick of the SCVs here. The Widowmine should keep this. Okay. And here's just expanded that this is a macro Rodian piece. Yeah, no, I love how he found this out. Like, the first probe was suspicious. I think the Reaper was just hunting for the probe. Because the Reaper hunt, especially the probes that are like, you don't want it to be a constant annoyance, but in that it finds a Zealot. Like, okay. Which would have seemed like a lucky break until the second Zealot came in, and I truly think that Hero is ahead now. Through all the fire and fury, which has been not too many units, but enough to certainly throw the game sideways. Hero has successfully, once again, dragged the game to his level. I don't know if that's up, down, sideways, or dimensionally confusing, but... And is going to try to beat Clem with experience. Because Clem is nothing if not precise. Like, that is, honestly, he's so good at executing. His macro is multitasking. Except none of those apply. Hero requires them that the Zealot actually spotted this moving out, or it's just patrolling. Well, the hallucinating Phoenix definitely did it. The Zealot didn't. It's just a Zealot. He spotted this before, yes. He's gonna try to take out the pylon. Hero does have Blink on the way. He has just one more gate. He has a grand total of 1 gate after this is taken down. There are more finishing back at home. The Zealot is cleaned up when he cut down a Marine. Hero. Of course he is. And Clem's turning around. Oh, Hero fully committed to the counterattack. He does have recall available. Blink is almost done. And this is going to work out perfectly for Hero. Oh wait, there's a tank on the high ground. Never mind, this is going to work out in some fashion for Hero. Blink's on the tank. And the depot being down actually gives him more space to work with. He's just going to get through, murder some SCVs, slide out, and recall. I'm out of there. Loses 1 stock. Oh, but he's back. Oh, how perfect. Oh, my. He gets one of the Widow Mines. And, wow. I love it when a plan comes together. Hero. How does it... The Forrest Gumpian school of Protoss. With your spirit guide, Hero. He not only perfectly times the run-by in order to maximize the Stalkers and minimize risk, but the recall comes in right as the Widowmine drop does, in this perfect confluence of offense and defense, minimizing Clem's potential aggression while maximizing his own. still the Widow Mine in the medevac effect. And it is a bit, it's actually 1 or 2 stalker shots away from death. So, yes, another sacrificial sentry. No, don't go in there. Use it. Oh, down to the, oh my. Oh yeah, the force field on the ramp, you show him. You got him. Whoa, that was a disaster. Hero? That's not right. Yeah, that's more like it. He did get a tank, I guess, but 5 stalkers dead. The probe. The stalkers looking to intercept the medevac. Auto turret gets a couple more. Raven slides by, but Hero's still hunting. And the Raven, nevermore. Medevac trying to fly to the next map. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. A Dark Shrine! At the most random of timings. He has charge, he has blink. You would think, like, well, the next step is usually your splash damage. Your Robo for Robo Bay, or your Templar Archives for Archons. Or, more likely, Storm. But Hero just slaps down a Dark Shrine. Because, you know, he's feeling it, alright? A vibes-based Protoss. I truly think, I do think that's true, though. Like, it's instinct. More than any sort of plan. Because that flexibility allows him to contort himself in both exciting and confusing ways. But Clem has put together a deadly arm. He's got siege tanks. He's got the boys! He's taking down the rocks here, which, well, is gonna open up some space. He doesn't want a single force field to actually cut this off. So, but the Dark Shrine is gonna be quite a quandary. Is he gonna warp in DTs to try to help break this? The DTs be the saviors? Because right now, Clem has more than enough to easily bash this down. He warps in 3 Dark Templar. Quite a commitment, but if he gets even a couple tanks here, oh, he's gonna get one. The DTs a scan, but the second time, and they get the tanks. 6 and more DTs at the front, and there's likely not very many scans. The random Dark Shrine, such a massive gamble, and so far, well, it's unclear whether it's paid off. Hero does have a 4th base, whereas Clem sent all the SCVs from a 2nd. The scans, he doesn't have a scan for a few more seconds. He's gonna have it in a moment. Another DT comes in. The probes are pulled off the line. The workers suffer the most in these fights, as always. But the scans will run out. The question. Oh, Clem has a, oh my. A Dark Templar is warped in. The probes are being slaughtered, gunned down. Couple dozen at a time. But the turret on the low ground, he scans anyways. And Hero is starting to charge. The charge lot's helping a lot, plus 1 attack on either side. The numbers have thinned out to the point that Hero might be able to dismantle this. As the Blink Stalkers still mostly in full repair, what's left of them, he repowers some of the gates, and he does have another Nexus still building to the north. The Marines and Marauders down to single digits between them, maybe 1 unit of HP. The Stalkers plinking them down 1 by 1. The reinforcements on the way knocks another medevac out of the sky, but not the one full of units. And Clem, what a brutal fight for both sides. Clem destroying way more units, way more resources, but Hero had more to give. The Nexus holds. The one to the north, I think he canceled. Hero has a 10-worker lead, but the army supply and the unit composition still in favor. The thing is, the Dark Templar existing at all. The reshield here, he actually built a Raven to deal with this. Wow. Actually using the Raven will help deal with the DTs, but the Stalker's still doing plenty of damage behind. Starter stepping back, slicing through. The charge lot's not enough. The Stalkers blinking into the 3rd. There's no shield battery here, but the charge lots are coming in again. And still, oh, snipes off another Marauder. He saves one. What a save on a Clem. Microing every unit for all it's worth, and then even more. The probes being targeted down. The Raven taking some hits if he takes it out. The scans are few and far between. The Marines and Marauders, not so hefty either. And the charge lots of the probes are coming off the line again. He might be able to chase. In fact, one of us is the wreckage brother. A Marine left behind. and Clem is forced to retreat as Hero somehow holds the Raven. Ah! So close, yet he's gonna lose it. Throws out a spiteful auto turret. Clem getting a little greedy, and now the Dark Templar. The liability and the savior so far. This game is obscenely close. Alright. Right up until a full meta back of Marines and Marauders, but not quite. The Stalkers trying to snipe it off, but Clem lands just barely in time. 77 squad base. Hero with more prone going in. But a lot of the reinforcements for Clem are either in the production tab or on their way across the map, meaning this fight is still incredibly close. The Widow Mines not finding a great angle. Not hitting targets they really need to, but back at home, the charge lot's cutting off the reinforcements. The Widowmine getting maximum damage, though. Make that 2. Still, though, the Stalker count is too damn high. Hero blocking forward with the Stalkers with full HP, trying to maximize their effect, and there's almost no units left over. GG! Hero turns it around. The Dark Templar. I'm not sure if they hurt or helped more. Like, if he had Archon... No. He's sniping off those tanks at the very beginning was the difference between victory and defeat. Everything else, a very exciting, very dramatic, and mostly a foot. Though, obviously, the micro mattered. But if Hero doesn't take out those tanks that quickly, he loses. If he doesn't force Clem into getting detection and using scans instead of mules, he loses. If he doesn't... it's... But again... Hero threads the needle. Maybe he put himself in that position. Where he's like, instead of winning with charge rock from outside, I have this. Is this a metaphor? No. But 2. Hero again. An even closer game. But he never gives up. He never surrenders. So, on this map, we have a nice little indicator on where to put your pylon in order to wall off against Reapers. If you're a bitch. I don't know. And does Hero look like a... He charts his own course. Sometimes with finger paints. Sometimes not at all. But the casual dark trial. Remember that game started with the max tag stuff? Not exactly how max tag thing, but the vibes were there. The random proxy gate into YOLO Blink Stalkers, into Dark Shrine, I guess. Into yada 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 victory. I do think this does wall off against a Reaper, but I'm pretty sure, like 80%. So here's the thing. Now this doesn't even block the Reaper from jumping up. I get the logic if you're trying to set it up so there's a hard wall, which keeps the Reaper from jumping and means any tech you have over here doesn't get scouted. But this doesn't even. There's still the little foyer. Whatever. Not important. And clearly, who am I to argue genius? Stargate was showcased in Game 1. Didn't have too much of an impact, but certainly sent the game into a... Again, like, the Stargate existing and the fact that Clem scouted it early was a big part of why the early game ended up tilting towards Hero. Because it offers more opportunities. There's always the chance, and it's not a small one. And honestly, the biggest reason you don't usually see a Stargate early is very simply if the Oracle flies over a Widow Mine, you probably just lose the game. Like, it doesn't immediately happen. But you just spent 150 gas on the Stargate and 150 gas on an Oracle to die to a 25 gas Widow. That still exists usually after the Oracle. So, if that happens, you are so far behind on things like Blink. Well, mostly Blink. It's mostly Blink, to be honest. Like, things exactly Blink. So the Reaper, did he jump up the other way? No. Took this path. So there are Widowmons. How many Widowmons in this picture? Just the one. The probe at the front. We fly right over it. Hero. I mean, that's an obvious one. You can see the indentation there. The Oracle lights up, and here. What a save! Clem saves the. Ah, the probe! No, it's too cute. I can't. I'm really surprised he didn't build a pylon under it. Oh, the SCV. The first pioneer in the new land of the natural. And Phoenixes. Oh, no! No! Heals him. Oracle didn't have quite enough energy to turn on and do it up there to kill. I think that's like Cyclone locks on. Oracle almost lackadaisically. Move out of the way. That's some peak hero micro right there. Yeah. Fool me once, and I definitely will get fooled again. There is a Widowmon in here. Based on Clem's movements, yeah, he spotted. So another Oracle will just kind of. Oh, he knows he's gonna die. So 2 Oracles died to a single Cyclone back to back, which seems like it should be bad for Hero. And it is. Like, that was a lot of. Just lost a whole lot of his early tech for very little return. Yes, mining. But honestly, very minimal. Just random stalkers out there. He's going large. He doesn't have any zealots, but you know. Eventually we'll get there. Clem has his 3 racks, the factory, the starport behind. Reaper is still alive when I started that sentence. At least spots where some of the stalkers went. More probes being... Is he gonna build like a proxy pylon or something out there? Probably. Does not buy... Very key point. Does not have a third. And a dark trap. Gonna get their achievements. A scan at the natural. We'll see Zealots warping in, which should give him an idea of what he's dealing with. So Clem, I don't think has... Wow, what a pylon. A pylon powering fully 5/8 of all the gateway production. He's warping in off the slow pylon. And Clem doesn't necessarily recognize that this is mass charge out here. Oh, there's the set. He might think it's Blink. And if he thinks it's Blink and moving out would be disastrous. Unfortunately, Stim is not done. A force field locks him in. The Widowmon's retargeted. Actually, great micro out of Clem. But without Stim, well, these Marines and Marauders aren't taking this. Wow. Okay, never mind. Yeah, without Stim, his Marines and Marauders can easily hold the line because there just wasn't that much damage out of Hero. Meanwhile, the Phoenix is doing its part. No one else is there to help it, though, and it's not really a single-player mission. And again, Hero is left with Dark Templar. He's working at 4 DTs. His army is 1 Phoenix and 4 Dark Templar. He's warping in most of them on the other side. It comes like, are you kidding me? He has to turn around. He does have a scan momentarily. Let's let him see it. There are 4 DTs. This is a huge... Oh, he used the scan! Oh, no! He just lost to DTs again! It's over. Like, this is too much damage already. He used his... Oh, build a raid with them. It's too late. The damage is already done. Like, Hero has already made up for all the ground. He's building... The engineering bay wasn't even done. He could just slice the turrets. There's gonna be a... No, it's way too... It's already too much. Hero, down 25 supply, takes the game. Clem. Ooh. Yeah, like, yeah. It works. The Dark Templar, again, 2 games in a row. And even worse this time because they clearly were the wrong choice. Which made them... Clem, absolutely, positively, no doubt in my mind, had Dark Templar completely out of his mind. Because why? Like, a Stargate into DTs in like 2 minutes. Maybe a little more than that. But he lost 2 oracles. He did a failed charge lot time. And you're telling me the DTs were warping in right as he came? Hero. No GG, of course. Honestly, that's the hero... That was the hero build that he does in the middle of series he's winning. That just loses most of the time. If you've ever won, which, if this is your first time, wow. But also, thank you, like and subscribe. But for those well-versed in Heroes Chronicles, Hero has a tendency to almost grow. And it feels intentional. Like, Hero's an entertainer, first and foremost. That's why he wakes up or plays it. He's literally playing this tournament at what had to be 4 or 5 a.m. Korean time. And that's probably not the first time. On Mondays, we're playing the tournaments. The Hero seems to play on this. But, meanwhile, it's 7 with 8. But, so, I think we have CDs and stuff. Hero, honestly, I saw a comment that I see all the time. Pretty good. It said, I'm too late to respond to all the great comments. That's it, that's all I do. But I do take this general heart as opposed to specific. But the comments said, I'm starting to think Hero actually enjoys playing StarCraft. And you know, based on the way he plays, the fact he's willing to play it all, like, Hero, I don't know. Maybe he needs the few $100 from winning one of these weeklies. But he plays it so bad. They add up over time. But he has such a tendency to, especially when he's up 2 or even 3 games, do off-the-wall, almost random feeling builds. Not even builds that on paper are a good idea, but just throw it out there. We're gonna go Stargate into charge lots, into losing all your charge lots, into just hoping I win with DTs. Like, that's a ladder build. And, oh, it still has a chance, but honestly probably works better against players like Clem because it's so clearly a dumb call that it rolled all the way down with being a game winner. But despite his best efforts, Hero's up 3-0. And Clem on the precipice of quite a crushing defeat. Clem, who over the last couple years has a positive win rate against Stairman. I'm actually sure I really, yeah, those two are not typically only to very close events, but it looks like here just, oh, come doing them. Why is nothing's happened yet? Clem only has 20 SCPs in his round 1 day. So, do you think Hero is doing some sort of crazy on this? Which, you know, it's not a rare scenario. But Clem's already so far behind, he doesn't do critical damage here. Blink is not quite done yet. It's a siege tank, 10 Marine. Like, this is a lot of units. Blink is still quite far off, and the Twilight Council is at the front here. As is the shield battery, so these sieges. Clem. Well, I mean, okay, so he's not gonna break this. I don't know. This is actually, wow. That is rough. That is just too many. He misread the build clearly. I think he was so busy countering whatever it was Hero was doing in the other games, but yeah, 6 Stalkers. Hero's gonna win this fight. And he's already 20 workers ahead. Wow, and just rage quits out. This was Clem just literally and figuratively giving up. It's frustrating. And for me too, because well, he just, this one is, wow, that's like my ladder builds. Oh, well, I guess this just completely failed horribly. Is there a chance? No. The tank isn't sieged. The shield battery still has energy. He can potentially recharge it as well. And Blink's gonna be done in 10 seconds. I mean, you play it out, obviously. That's still a red card. Clem. But Hero, 4. Clem, 0. Which brings us to our very awkward end. Clem versus Beyond. Clem is Proton. Well, see if he learned anything. So I think this game was actually 50 for this. But so that I don't know if Hero lost a unit that game. Maybe he did in that last fight, but your Protoss in the blue. We have Clem. And Beyond in the bottom right. Beyond, the 3rd ranked Terran player in the world. Clem, Maru, Beyond. Clem, arguably, the 2nd or 3rd best Protoss versus Terran player. Hero, Max Packs, Clem. And honestly, it's debatable with Max Packs. Max Packs has not found as much success lately. Honestly, Protoss who don't have that sort of bleeding edge of insanity, I guess Classic can do it. The thing is, sometimes when Classic's not perfect, it falls apart. Whereas when Hero's not perfect, he wins scores here. It's just, you know, engineering bay block from Beyond. I'm always interested to see how Clem responds to certain Terran strategies. Because, you know, who knows him better? Literally. I do think that partially hurts him as Terran against Hero. I've talked about it before, but as a random thing. I'm 1/3 Terran, 1/3 Protoss, 1/3 Zerg, and 1/3 Salt myself. You have a tendency to kind of project. It's part of the biggest advantage of playing random, and not to play random, but to play like all 3 races, is to understand the struggle and the strengths of the other races. I'm not better than just looking from the outside. But at the same time, when I'm playing, I find myself thinking, alright, so expand, catch up, something like that. Usually a little less binary, but in that another race, I get much more third mix come across. It's like, what? That's so dumb. If I had just not been, if I had just sat behind my wall, it would have not. And I think that same thing should apply. But Clem's like, would you play like a normal person with a rational brain? And Hero's like, how did you say Dark Templar? Well, Clem dancing with that first adept, sneaking around the side, throwing shade. 2 adepts. Beyond, of course. Beyond 3 racks on the way. So a very distinctly different style than we saw from Clem at all. Who favored the 1-1-1 every game, but did not find success in any. The 3 racks gives you a lot of punch right off the bat. But obviously, if things go poorly, you don't really have any sort of... Like, you are much less likely to do any economic damage to the Protoss. And you put yourself behind if they're able to defend the first attack and get slashed. Like, Beyond is relying entirely on denying a third base and ideally carrying it through and winning the game, but that's kind of unlikely. But getting the advantage through sheer brute force as opposed to a more technical execution of like a Whittle Mine drop or Cloak Banshee or even a Raven. Doesn't even have a factor. This is all off one gas. Alright, it's pricing on it. That Phoenix Scout. Meanwhile, Clem with the most standard staple. This is, like, I feel like Clem is a more standard Protoss than Hero. That's not even the competition, but this is the build that most Protoss use. 3-gate blink with a Robo, and then you take your third either after the first warp-in, unless you scout something like this. Like, against specifically Bio, delaying the third is probably the right call. But otherwise, if you're against something like Whittle Mine drop, you usually take your third either before or after the first warp, depending on how greedy you're feeling. The blink is not quite done. The shield battery not quite done. Energy recharge. The things are coming together. You're going to try to target the sentry. Not going to happen. And so far, Clem, the Guardian Shield plus blink. Stim's not done for Beyond. So it's actually... What do you put? There's an Observer giving high ground vision. He's going to try to turn it maybe with Stim. But there's high ground vision for the Stalkers. So, and Stim is permanent damages. Medivacs are still a couple minutes out. He's just started the starport. Meanwhile, the Stalkers can chase him all the way across the map. Though, have to be a little careful in blinking forward. Beyond, still with the high ground, but the Observer going to help provide vision. Might snipe it off here. Yeah. Bit of a mistake. Got to climb and leave it hanging right there. Oh. So I'm still dancing. The moment he steps even slightly down that ramp, like he steps a toe into vision. Another Observer, oh, Hallucinated Phoenix is going to provide vision. As Clem just continues forward. And Clem with a textbook dismantle like the early bio, he's successfully taken his third before Beyond started the third command center. And, wow, Beyond actually hard supply block. That's a drop of supply, far from ideal. There's already going to be Colossi by the time any follow-up arrives. And the fact that Beyond is building medevacs as the Colossi come out means that Vikings are obviously a long way off. And Clem will maintain a significant advantage. No scanning. Charge is finishing up. The medevacs will keep the bio together. And this is... one Colossus is not enough. But there's a lot more than the Colossus. It's got its posse of charge lots, several several sentries with Guardian Shield available. The Stalkers get kind of cut apart, but Beyond gonna drop the base. And unfortunately abandons the rest of his units. Now it's become obvious, I think, to Clem what's happening here. But kind of an awkward wall-off will allow Beyond maybe to get some damage done. The Charizards will chase the bio across the map. Marines and Marauders are more than enough. The probes are pulled out in front here, which is an awkward choice, but the bio on the high ground. Beyond, the Charizard's closing the distance, but there's not quite enough damage. And overall, Beyond, he's gonna take out a few, well, I'm taking some inspiration, but he's gonna chase down the sentries. He's tearing them apart right now, but blinks down, goes for the second medevac, and there's not quite enough bio to deal with this. And what looked to be maybe a bit of a turnaround, Clem is eventually able to overrun, chase down, and knock out. Now, 2 Colossi, extended third lance about complete. Three medevacs were taken down. And remember that starport time is absolutely precious. There is no third command center. He's building a second starport on the reactor he built explicitly for it. But Clem is taking a 4th Nexus as Beyond languishes on 2 bases. The triple drop in the main. He's gonna keep dropping the base until you either turn off the Spotify channel or he wins the game. Maybe both. Targets the Cyber Core, which, you know, is something, but there's already enough Stalkers to easily chase this down, and Beyond gets put into the corner. Another army, a recall onto the 3rd. With just the Colossi, Beyond's like, you know, actually, the Marauders are getting roasted here, but that's we don't need to worry about. He's gonna drop on top of the Colossi. Well, the reinforcements running across is certainly not helping. Ended up doing something, but I think it was maybe a little too sloppy. 2 Marauders can actually let him make a piece of the kill come off. Dropped on that road. That is only 1 piece of damage. He's up 4 bases and 20 workers ahead. The only thing really lacking are the upgrades, but Beyond does not have the resources nor the inclination to tech up any further. 2 starports with reactors pumping out Vikings. He may pull the boys for one last dance, having ideally enough Vikings. There's no real economy. There's not going to be much of a home to go back to soon. How many Colossi? 2. He didn't even add a 3rd. So there is a there he goes again. Beyond darts the medevac towards the main. He can't help himself. The scan, I think he spotted a glimpse of the army. A scan in the main. The Colossi might get caught on the Reaper clip, but she didn't wall off. Creating a bit of an awkward situation, so here we go. This is Beyond's best chance here. The Colossi stepping up, and he's actually gonna knock him down, Clem! 1 Colossus toppled. Meanwhile, the army on the right side is chased down by Charizards. Some of the Marauders left behind in the main. The factory also kind of hanging out here like a bit of an eyesore. The Vikings, with nothing to fire at, will actually hit the deck and try to eat some of the Charizards. And going to help turn the tide of this fight. But Beyond is on borrowed time. He killed some probes, he got a Colossus, he's now landed a factory in the 3rd base. But, he does have the army supply, but Clem has the high ground. The Vikings will knock down the Colossus, but there's Archons in the middle. The Vikings take it out before they can land. Just to make sure you didn't know what was going to happen in those last means of motivation, we also have to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing. It's still free. At least for me. So thank you to our military patrons, bringing in those extra minerals. Big team together for the cake on soup and everything. Go ahead, just make sure to check out this video. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. I hope I made your day. Good luck, have fun. Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the greatest player of all time in the red, the finisher. It's Silver. But until recently, the greatest competition for that title in the blue, it's the man, the myth, the Maru. And this is the grand finals of the World Team League, Summer 2024. Team Basilisk versus Team Vitality, battling to be first to get 7 points and take home the championship. And before we get started, I must ask just 1 point from you. And that's one more like, and maybe subscribe. Jimmy, what are we at? 1,407 likes in this video on this cast. And I'll cast another one. I'll probably do that, because I don't know what else I do. But thank you for watching. You've had a good day so far. I hope it's about to get just a little bit better. Reaper comes in. Drones on the run. Zerglings will offer themselves up as tribute. And Cyril, of course, going for the hatch. The Queen will announce that playtime is over. A single Zergling died. The Reaper pushed away. He's blocking the third. Maru is at a tough blow with it. But maybe this will be the time he can finally turn it around for his team. And the format is an all-kill fight, which means each of these matches, if there are 2 matches back to back, then they can get each team must field another player. The roster, Team Basilisk has Sarah, Raynor, and Showdown. We got on Basilisk as part of the team for the tournament. Whereas Team Vitality has Maru, Silver, Leon, and Fred. I think classified as a coach technically, but that means they technically can bring a thing. So, either of these players, if they're able to win both their matches, can keep going and potentially just relegate the rest of the team to bench warming. So, we'll have to see. And on some level, I think players obviously want to win and show up for their team, but on another level, it'd be nice to take home the prize without doing anything. So, no matter which one you are, we shall see how far they can get. Cell 3 CC, nope. Maru 3 CC, Cell 3 Hatchery. Both players with small admissions that their opponent has units that could damage them, but oh, how does he? He always gets a lane. I don't know how he does it. Wait, did Maru just juke him? He canceled stim, started cloak after the Zergling came in and scouted the stim. So Maru trying a very lowbrow mind game, but using the fact that that link. Now, I don't think I'm going to give him enough. I don't think I'm going to give him so much credit that he let the leg in to see the wrong info, but instead kind of trying to work off the fact it got in at all. And the Viking knocked down one Overlord, will get another that opens up more of an opportunity to get damage done. And Overlord taken out. And you know, that Spore Crawler is an anti-Liberator Spore Crawler. Now, Reaper gets taken out. Oh my, what is that? Is that a Zergling or a Reaper? No. No. It was part of the Reaper, but now it's that Reaper's in several parts. But wow, that was pretty gruesome. Both players really spinning up the macro engine now, though. Double engineering bay for Maru. Already double upgrades on the way for Cyril, who looks like he's doing a hive tech rush. Either that, or he was inspired by Raynor's play very recently. In which case, going No, but you usually would not go for a double needle chamber into meters. Because that will delay your noodles so much that by the time they come out, the opponent probably already has medevac, marine, 1-1, stem combat, all the things. So, very unlikely to get damage done. And definitely, that delayed close is sometimes better than rushing it out. As clearly, Zero got off guard. 4 drones killed. Not that he doesn't have any spare, but 4 drones killed and a second Banshee coming. Did not quite have the detection ready to deal with it. And now, Banshee poking in. Looking for the drones so far. Finding a couple more, and that will delay Cyril's modding from the 4th base. But wait, there's more. Hold position right on top of those simulator extractors. And more and more. Brenda, why do they get to fly and we can't anymore? And Susan, we talked about this. We don't talk about the war. Okay? It's too hurtful. But Banshees are hurt. Shh. Sorry. Hive is on the way. 2-2. For Cero is going to be ahead of Maru. Maru definitely a more defensive terror. Well known for being kind of a master turtle terror. In much the same way Clem, not so much. That was a clunky sentence. But Clem, always aggressive on top of it, which is high risk, high reward. Whereas Maru has a tendency to focus more on the turtling up and building the army to just win outright. Incredibly cost efficient. He doesn't have a Ghost Academy on the way yet, but he's working on his 4th command center. He's already got the +2 at his attack upgrade. The thing is, Cyril's already working towards high. He's going to have +2 melee and +2 carapace. And with high tech coming online, by the time Maru rolls out, there could be Viper, there could be Adrenal Glands. I'm not sure. We've seen the correct method to beat Cyril. Thank you. And right now, we're fight 5x5, right, boys? Oh, wait a second. All right, now it's... Apparently not. But Viper's 5 Dropper Lords on the way as well, and Maru didn't start +2 armor, which is quite a mistake. There's certainly no reason not to have it. Did he actually queue it up on one of them? No. He just doesn't have +2 armor on the way at all. That is a straight-up mistake out of Maru here. Healing up the medevacs, but the Banshees come back in. The Banshees aren't done yet. Continually dragging Cyril back. But Cyril has not... Oh my, he's just going to do a massive drop. Looking to crush early on. And Banelings? The siege tank on the high ground. There's a single Widow Mine. Huge hit. Combined with the siege tank getting a lot of the Ling Bane. But Cyril has already loaded up into the Overlords. There's no real defense against this. I think maybe a single missile turret, just as well as a sensor tower on the way. But that sensor tower is going to be coming online by the moment the Zerglings are dropping in the base. Adrenal Glands. Look at this timing coming together. Adrenal Glands is finishing in 10 seconds. Burrow in 2. He can burrow the Lings inside the main, even if they come to clean it up. Trying to split off and deal with the Widow Mines. Blinding Cloud wipes out the effectiveness of the tanks on the front line. The Vipers helping to gut the defenses. The main base is overrun. The Natural is gone. The third is being obliterated. The Zerglings are cutting down the SCVs, and Cyril just decapitated Maru in game 1. And the Zerglings are just burrowing in every single base. The armory is taken down before Maru even starts +3. The engineering base miraculously are still intact. Cyril, 44 SCVs dead. And oh my, that Widow Mine single missilely getting enough damage to maybe keep Maru in the game, but 45 SCVs, leaving Maru with almost exactly that number left. Maru will eventually clean up most most of this, though. Burrowed wings all over the place like it's a campaign mission. Comes back in for more, gonna clean up. And the Wavelings unburrow and knock out the mules. But wait, there's more. Zergling splits it off. He can kill more, and the damage just keeps adding up. There's no way Maru can clean this up and move out. Usually, the big risk with something like this is if it gets cleaned up, they come across and they have just too big of an army. But Cyril sacrificed nothing. He can rebuild that same army again with better upgrades against a weaker Maru. It doesn't get any easier here. A scan has to be used. There's only 3 orbitals. He can't just be throwing them out there like it's Costco. Well, another wave. He targets the Banelings with the Widowmine there. I think that was a manual target. But the Vipers are coming in again. Parasitic Bomb quarantines one medevac, but the other one is targeted as well. The survivors are ripped to pieces. Another drop comes in with the surviving Dropper Lords. Maru is scrambling back, but there's not going to be much to go back to. The minefield splitting off individual lings. And the main base, there were still lings burrowed. At this point, Sail's just giving it up to the mines. You gotta be so careful, but he just runs them over. Just like the Marines, just like the Marauders. The Banelings are rolling in. And it looks like Maru will be rolling out of game number 1. Cyril with a decisive clobbering to open things up for Team Basilisk. Wow, okay. Looks like Cyril picking up where he left off Maru the last time they faced. Well, that was more one-sided than a Mobius strip there. Does not score. Team Vitality not looking particularly vital at the moment. Cyril goes off to a 1, the key lead that we had in the Crimson Court. So because just to note, as we saw in some of the other maps, the map vetoes are done between each. So we may very well see the same maps again in a game. At least with Rainer versus Clem, where we saw Crimson Court 3 times in a row. I'm not sure. It may very well be loser pick the second match. I'm just going to make up whatever rules sound the most interesting. But remember, it's first to 7. In the points counter. So the reason we don't have best of 13 or whatever up there is it actually only goes up to 9. Fun fact. In fact, Jimmy, can we get even fancier? Because it's technically not really. Alright, there we are. First to 7. It's not really a best of because of the format, which is super interesting. I actually think it's the best Team League format, a combination of all kill and having multiple players out there. Because the all kill format has a tendency to the best of 1 all kill format has a tendency to make the team